Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Namaste Experience. It is Monday morning, a new week. We are so blessed to be here to join. I hear you guys had a wonderful session with Reverend Rob yesterday. I can't wait to watch it on the recording. And this morning, we are going to continue in that beautiful line with Reverend Eliza, who's going to be coming up and sharing. I have no idea what she's going to share. And I like that feeling of just like everybody else, just kind of being present and anxiously waiting to see what brilliance is going to issue forth. So I'm not going to waste any time. I just wanted to welcome all of you and to welcome Reverend Eliza. So come on up, let's get started.
All righty. Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I'm wondering if you got a little nervous in not having any idea what I'm going to say.
No.
I mean, it's like, oh, I don't know. And he said, I have no idea what you're going to say. I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say. I said, me too. That was about 20 minutes ago. So, oh, I am here. I am here. And here I am. Maybe that's it.
Thank you very much.
I do have a couple things I want to share. I want to acknowledge that today, at least in the United States of America, we celebrate the Martin Luther King Celebration Day. And, you know, Martin Luther King was pretty amazing. Last week, we celebrated Sidney Poitier, not to put them in the exact same category, but why not, right? And it's all about love. We watched To Serve with Love. We were talking, Carly and I, about again this morning about that movie last week. That's a beautiful movie. But you know, what did Martin Luther King really stand for? Standing in the truth of who we are. And being acknowledged. You know, his whole, I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. He also said we can walk through the darkest night with the radiant conviction that all things work together for good. And I love that. That's sort of one of my foundational pieces. We can walk through anything knowing that all things work together for good. Now, that's not saying that all things are good, right, necessarily, but that in the greater space, in the greater awareness, in the greater expansion, we can know and we can trust that all things are working together for good and a greater good. And when we do that, it is as if we go beyond ourselves, which is going to bring me to what I wanted to talk about today. There's a poet named John Rodell, who I've come to really love and appreciate. Do you know him? You might think this is really yummy. And I pulled up one of his poems that I wanted to share. Starts like this. This isn't how I planned for my life to look like. I whispered under my breath as I walked to my car. Tell me about it. An eavesdropping cloud replied to me from above. Let me make this a little bit easier. Oh, much better. I looked up and watched the cloud billow between, looking like a dove and an open hand, and the cloud continued. I used to be a snowfield in Montana. I used to be a dewdrop kiss on a lily. I used to be a puddle in a parking lot. I used to be a river in Mexico. I used to be a glacier. I used to be a waterfall mist in a jungle. I used to be so many things. Doesn't that make you sad? I asked the cloud. It used to, but not anymore, the cloud replied while wrapping herself around me like a scarf. I don't think either of us were created to stay the same form our entire life. I'm not sure I can let go of my old life, I sighed. Oh, you simply must, the cloud whispered in my ear, because once you release what you used to be and embrace who you are meant to be now, something amazing will happen, the cloud said. What's that? I asked, while looking at my hands that were beginning to billow and shapeshift. You'll start to float. And with that, my feet lifted off the ground. When we can notice what we notice about who we're being and what we're thinking and how we're showing up, and we're not thrilled with what we're noticing, in an instant, we can pivot. In an instant, we can interrupt the pattern that we're not thrilled about and drop back into the essence of our being. When we drop back into the essence of our being, we can rise up into one of my favorite sayings, our biggest, boldest, most brilliant becomingness, which has nothing to do with ego or material or personality. It has to do with peeling away our limitations and landing in the truth of who we be, in essence, in spirit, on the planet, and far beyond. So because we're a course community, I studied the course many years ago. I can tell you when, because my son was christened in a church that was a course church. Somebody said, I didn't know they had those. Well, they had one in Phoenix at the time. He was born in 88. So we're talking 86, 87, 88, 89, kind of in that time frame. And the course said this, I found a couple of things. Excuse me. Be still and lay aside all thought of what you are and what God is. All concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with holy, empty hands into your God. Again, right? Holy, empty hands. In my personal practice right now, I've been doing a lot of coming into nothingness or nothingness, moving beyond my mind into beyond time and space. And I do that as a regular part of my meditation right now, is just landing in that space. And some of you have done our quantum meditations, and we'll be doing more of those. But it's like landing, it's like just bypassing, not denying, not ignoring, but just becoming less interested. Become less interested in that, right? Pay it no mind. The noise in your head and the pain in your body or whatever's going on in the world, just pay it no mind so you can land in this place. And it's such a place in your heart that it just, and you become empty. And the most emptiest space is the fullest space. Many years ago, somewhere around 2009 and 10, so we're talking about a dozen years ago, I went through a process. I actually, a lot of Unity ministers like to talk about their call into ministry. Well, I actually like to talk about my call out of ministry. I got pulled off the stage and out of ministry, like with a shepherd's hook off the stage. And I did a deep dive into what now I call my spiritual initiation work that just took me. And I was asked, are you willing to serve creation? And I said, yeah, duh, I'm a Unity minister. I have been for 10 years. Yeah. Well, that's not a perfect thing to say to spirit. Duh. So I was asked again, and I said, yes, emphatically, yes. And then I heard, then you will be asked to surrender everything. And that started a journey of surrender everything. Very quickly, Rob and I broke up. Very quickly, I was called out of my ministry. I left my job. I left the Unity movement for a moment. I gave up. I was in my car basically for about 18 months. And I was doing the deep dive. I was working with the teacher, but I was doing a deep dive. I had to surrender. I had to let go all my roles, titles, material things, job. I had to let go, I had to surrender, I had to process through all the emotions of humanity, all of them. The guilt, the shame, the grief, the rage, all of it. I had to burn through all of that. And then I had to start letting go and surrendering all my belief systems. So at the end of that time, I was so empty. I had no belief, I had no thought, I had no desire, I had no thingness. And that was really the beginning of my experience in nothingness. And then out of that, things, it's like I came back into the world. I was lifted out of the world for that period of time, and things started coming back. You know, Rob and I came back. I like to talk about our relationship, which is a whole nother thing, is bungee cord. I was like, boom, we're back. Oops, we're not. Boom, we're back. Oops, we're not. Boom, we're back. And then finally we got married, and that helped. But what I know to be true from the depth of my own experience is nothing you think matters. And that when you can just pay it no mind, notice it, don't deny it, don't bury your head in the sand about it, but land in that place of beingness. Then you can shapeshift, and spirit can shapeshift, and you go from the glacier to the puddle, to the raindrop, to the dew, to the cloud, and it's all beautifully brilliant. And it's all expansive. And it's all love. The other course line I found says, love created me like itself. And when I was reading that lesson, it also said, holiness created me holy. Like, you don't have to work at building your worthiness anymore. You don't have to, you're just not unworthy. Just stop it. Because you are worthy, and you are holy, and you are love. It says kindness created me kind. It says helpfulness created me helpful. It says perfection created me perfect. Could have used the glasses there. Love created me like itself. Just take a breath into that. Like, everything you think that is less than perfection or holiness, it's just simply not true. Love created me like itself. So last night I was out, and James came by, and he says, are you doing the session tomorrow? I said, yeah. Because I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. I said, yeah, me too. And I said, hey, maybe I'll call you up. Can I call you up and put you on the spot?
Oh,
will you join me? I mean, how fun is this? Will you, James, join me?
Sure. How do you say no to that?
I know, right? How do you say no, especially in public? What do you have to think about that, or say about that, or feel about that?
Love created me loving. Wow. What more can be said? It gets to the point where we begin to simplify, bringing it down to the essential level. You did that so beautifully this morning. This is not complicated. This is such a simple reality if we allow it to be simple. But the mind that refuses to see the simplicity of salvation, a statement like love created me like itself, that mind needs the complication, longs for, craves the complication, because ultimately the idea is that you're going to give up. Oh, this is too complicated. At some point, you're just going to chuck it And we usually do. And then we come back again later, but then we keep doing this pattern over and over again, instead of realizing the simplicity of everything you so beautifully shared today, Eliza. Love created me loving, like itself. Just hold still with that for a moment. You are what love is. You are the very essence. Pay nothing else any mind. That's it. Don't pay attention to anything else that seems to be contrary to that, because it is not. Anything that resonates with that, just dance with it. But that's what I was getting out of what you were sharing today, just how simple this is. And if we would just allow it to be simple, then we rise.
Mm-hmm.
We rise like that person in that beautiful poem. We lift off this earth. There's, our effort, we talk about this thing that I call the gravitational pull of the ego. And it's when we are trying hard, that's when we need the propulsion of those jet engines. But when we simply let ourselves be taken, we lift effortlessly. We don't need those engines. There is no gravitational pull. Let God do the work for you. Whatever God is, I have no idea what God is. Some of you have heard me say this before. People ask me all the time, do you believe in God? And the answer is no. I don't believe in a God. I don't think there is such a thing as a God. What I believe in is only God. That's all there is. And when I let that everything take me and lift me, as opposed to trying to do it on my own, wow, that's where we find ourselves right now in this beautiful community, having people like you and Rob and everyone else join us. Wow, we are on fire. We are just being lifted effortlessly into this heaven that we never left. So that's what came to me.
Awesome. Awesome. And what came to me, we'll call on Vicki and Teddy here in a moment. What came to me when you were speaking too is just the practice of when you react, just pause and create some spaciousness around it. Just interrupt the pattern by pivoting. Like, okay, I'm in a deep reaction, but listen to that bird. Like the work is not getting caught in our reactions, and then just creating space in your mind, in your body. I mean, just because in that spaciousness, there's room to discover once again that love created us like itself.
Yeah, how simple is salvation. So Vicki, Teddy, we'd love to hear from you guys. Good morning.
Hi, you guys. So nice to see you Monday morning. And Eliza, that was terrific hearing everything you said. When we hear it from each other, it's so affirming, and it gives us all wings because we recognize the same step. And whether all of us have to let go of what we've been valuing, that's all there is to it. And we do it in every which way. But the simplest way is what you ended with. As soon as I bump into a resistance or a sadness, I realize right there on the spot, that's all of the mistake. It's all right there. I don't have to spend years in therapy and go through all kinds of processes. It's right there. And that shift right there into, wait a minute, this is, oops, wait a minute. And then turning within, the whole world, we've all done it, is turn outside. That's been the big addiction. External, everything, guidance, cues, everything. And as soon as we just turn inside, and all we really have to do is stop interfering by saying, oops, I want to cut that out. I want my original innocence, my original me, whatever that is. So if I'm going to say anything, joy created me like itself. Since I was a kid, I felt God in my heart say, God's a lot of fun, but everybody thinks he's very serious. And you're going to help everyone realize God's a lot of fun. So I just want to say and recognize a particular model of joy in our world that we all know. So in the States today, on one of the stations of TV land things, it's Betty White Day. So Betty White's one of my idols. So Betty White lived to be about almost 100. She never worked a day in her life, not one day, because all she did was be herself. She was just loving what she did in acting, and she was born and bred on the stage. But she was naturally herself in every role you see her in. And today, I think it's really wondrous. And I think it's a miraculous occurrence that on one of the stations in the States, all day it's Betty White Day. So you're going to be able to see, it's like Lucy. You'll just see everything and roll out laughing because she's really funny by her beingness, because there's no distance between her and her expression because she's just herself. She's not working at being an actress. None of us have to work at being what we are. All we have to do is be aware of what we're not. And what we're not is where the bump in the road is, or the resistance. And then just, oops, I better turn around. And that's really it. Pay it no mind, better turn around. You better show me that the critical piece is really that turning within and asking. And then listening with our whole being, because it's not an audible voice for most, not for me, but there's a knowing and there's a prompt and there's a recognition, just like what to say here now, without setting it up or figuring it out or writing an outline or any of the rest of it. Just be ourselves, because our natural self is the living Christ. We are the living joy, the living love of God. We are it. Catch God everywhere. You can't miss him. It's everywhere. So catch him everywhere. But don't forget to catch him right where we are. And if we hit the bump in the road and it looks a little messy for a moment, so what? It's just not so. It's just a bump in the road. So what? Turn around, say, oops, I guess not that road. No matter what, turn around. Oops, here I am. I'm paying attention again. Can you help me out here? And let it be light. Let it be childlike. Let it be as simple as a child, because we are children. We are children of the kingdom. And this is probably the first time collectively we're having a collective awareness and experience of being that childlike innocence ourselves, and really helping to finally co-create by our being ourselves and extending only love. So that's what I have to say. Teddy was in a deep sleep for a moment and not quite ready yet to speak. But so I'll hand it back to you. But so yesterday was our 34th anniversary. And Eliza, like you, Teddy and I went, bam, bam. We were married for 24 years, divorced for 10 years, and back together again. And yesterday was our very first really happy, fun anniversary.
How nice.
That's awesome.
Oh, congratulations.
He's still
to you.
recovering.
Okay. Good for Teddy. All right.
We could say, tell us more, but we won't.
And I also was going to say, if you are concerned about bumps in the road, Mexico is not the place for you.
Oh, no. Mexico is a perfect place to learn to navigate the bumps in the road without being affected by
That's
them.
right. Thank you, Vicki. And thank you, Eliza. It's always so beautiful to hear the different voices and the different angles of the single teaching of love. Once again, love created me like itself. And yet we are going to hear that lesson through the lenses that we have within our own mind based upon what we claim from our past, from our story, from our judgments, from our projections. These are all lenses. And yet the beautiful thing about joining in this way is it gives us a back door where we can slip in without the lenses, without going through all of those filters based upon all of those erroneous beliefs. We can slip into the back door and enter into the heart effortlessly. And that's what I feel here. That's one of the reasons why I'm just so excited that every month we have these beautiful unity ministers who are joining with us to give us just a different angle of the same reality, the same teaching, but to share it in their own unique way. And it's amazing how everyone that we've had here, and I'm sure this will always be true, they just fall right into it. Next month, we have David MacArthur coming back, who is one of the best, and he was here many months ago, and we're going to be bringing him back at least once or twice a year because he's just brilliant, and we're all brilliant. And the brilliance of 1,000 suns is radiating within us right now. Teddy talked last week about entering into that experience, that aliveness, that the vibrancy of the awakening, whether it be through music or just saying yes, yes. Love created me like itself. Yes.
So I have one little piece. I don't know what our time is, but I think we're okay for one
Sure.
little piece, right? So I want to just have us all just lean into where we were a moment ago, because we felt it, right? That all is well. I am nothingness in that love created me as itself. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open. It doesn't make any difference. But I want you to really activate that. Activate joy created me as itself. Perfection created me as itself. And as you're doing that, feel the limitations of your mind and your body just drop away as the truth is activated. And then we're going to feel it collectively. So feel your love created you as itself. And then join from that love with every person here in Namaste and every person on the Zoom. Just feel that like it's in yourself and it goes as we join collectively. Activate it, feel it moving through your body. I've got some body chills moving around here. Feel that collective. If you're on the Zoom screen, look around the people. If you're in the space here, just feel the people right here. And then we're just going to expand it out. So first, we are the collective. Feel this great big circle filled with only love created us as itself. Let it build and build and build. And then from this great big circle, we turn around so that we're facing out, and we're just going to extend it and expand it into the world. Love created the world as itself, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. And feel that expansion going out and out and out and out. Notice what's happening in your own self. Notice what's happening in our collective. And then we simply lift it and gift it. Love as ourselves. Lift it and gift it. Lift it and give it freely to the world. As we do that, it encircles our globe, our universe. Feel it encircling, enfolding, coming right back around, coming into our circle, once again, coming into you, once again, empowered, activated exponentially. You are love itself. You are joy itself. You are perfection itself. Notice what it feels like. Memorize the feeling. Memorize the experience. Know the truth. And so it is.
And so it is. Now that's how you start off a Monday morning.
That's right. It's not quite ecstatic dance, but it's almost the same, right?
It's an inner ecstatic dance.
Yes.
I can feel my
Yes.
insides just jumping around right now. And when laughter is always a sign, isn't it? Oh, you just feel that joy building up, expressing, expanding. That's what I feel right now. As I look out here and as I look out here, and I look out here, I look everywhere and see only that joy, expressing, expanding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Such gratitude. Thank you to you, dear one. You're such a gift to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really my honor to be here and to be with you.
Amen.
To be here. I am here.
You know, we may even break our one and done rule and bring you back. There's so many of the Unity ministers right now who are hearing about what's happening here, and they're like, "Can I come? Can I come?" So the board set up a one and done rule, with exceptions.
With exceptions. Not that we're special or anything, because no one's special.
Exactly, except totally.
Except totally all
special.
of us. All of us.
Let's go ahead and we will join in our final prayer, the prayer of protection. I know that Rob did a beautiful session on this yesterday. So on the full prayer. So let's go ahead and join in this prayer now. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen. Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday.
Have a beautiful day. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Namaste.
Wonderful
Okay.
session.